Product market fit. This idea is heralded among the startup community, often touted as the singular key to success in a startup.
This concept, we use the term product market fit.
Product market fit.
Product market fit. Product market fit.
But what if I told you that the common advice around product market fit is wrong? Hi, I'm Ryan Genie. I've started 5 technology companies. 2 are worth more than $250 million, and I sold one to Google. I've invested in and advised hundreds of others, and now I'm bringing my lessons to YouTube to help entrepreneurs like you bring your greatest gifts to the world. In this video, I want to tell you a secret about startups and give you a framework that will change the way you see companies and the landscapes they exist in forever. Let's begin. Essentially, product market fit is only one part of a 4-piece puzzle, and the greatest entrepreneurs understand that if you get all 4 of these elements in place, growth comes like magic. So what are they? Product channel fit, channel model fit, model market fit, and finally, market product fit. Let's dive in. Let's start with 2 obvious facts. Firstly, distribution follows a power law. In most high-growth companies, a single channel will account for over 70% of their customers. And secondly, you can build and change your product, but you can't change how a channel works. Stated individually, most people understand these intuitively, but it's in piecing them together that produces the real insight. If nailing one channel is all you need, and you can't alter how the channels work, then you have to build products to fit the channels. No matter how much you kick and scream, you can't affect the architecture of an Instagram ad. It's always going to look roughly the same. Think how out of place a $100,000 a year SaaS ad would look on your Instagram feed. If your product isn't suited to being sold over social media, it's never going to find explosive growth no matter how many millions you pour into your Instagram ad spend. This is where hundreds of companies mess up, since they're so focused on product market fit, they only think about getting that part right, then assume they can test a bunch of different channels later. But without a distribution channel that makes sense for your product, it's unlikely to work out. Most companies fail to find a single channel that works, so you should really build your product with a channel in mind. This might sound strange, but building distribution is usually much harder than building a product, so you could actually start a company by focusing only on distribution, then figure out what product to sell into that channel later. This is what big content creators and online influencers do. Build an audience, then sell things to them. Think of Mr. Beast and his Beast Burger, or Kylie Jenner and her makeup brand. This leads to the natural next question. How do you find a channel that works? And this brings us to channel model fit. But before I go into that, I want to take a moment to credit Brian Balfour. He runs an amazing blog at brianbalfour.com, and this video is based on a series of essays he made on the topic, which I've linked in the description. Also, while I have you, if you find this valuable, please take a second to like and subscribe. It goes a long way to helping me get these videos out there in YouTube's algorithm. Channel model fit. It's the idea that your business model defines the kind of channels you can use. The important thing to understand here is that every business lives on a spectrum based on their average price per customer and their customer acquisition cost. Companies that have a low price have to make use of low CAC channels, whereas those that make more per user can use higher CAC channels. Let's take a look at some examples. On the low end, there are companies like TikTok and Instagram who only make a small amount per user. Because of this, they grow best through low CAC channels like user virality and user-generated content. The businesses that have slightly higher average revenue per customer, like Slack or Audible, they can afford to use channels like paid marketing and influencer ads. Hopefully, you're starting to see the pattern. The more you make per customer, the more you can spend to acquire customers. Let's return to the chart and flesh out the other side of the spectrum. Once we do so, you'll notice a critical danger zone. Further along are mid-market B2B companies like Salesforce.com or Atlassian, who can use much more expensive CAC channels like content marketing and inside sales. And finally, there are the really high price point businesses, those that survive on 6 or 7-figure enterprise deals. Businesses like Palantir or Oracle live here. Companies like these can make use of full-on enterprise sales teams. Think lots of airplane flights and steak dinners. As you can see, there's an empty middle in this chart, and this space is a bit of a no man's land. Any company in that section suffers from either having too much friction or too little payoff. Low CAC channels rely on having quick time to value and having as little friction as possible. For instance, if you're trying to sell a $1,000 product through a low CAC channel like viral marketing, there's too much friction for the customer to sign up on a whim. Additionally, a company in the danger zone has too low price to afford high CAC channels like an inside sales team. This leads to terrible unit economics, with these businesses often making zero or even negative returns on their marketing spend because of their CAC. Can companies exist in this danger zone? Yes, it's possible, but it's not easy. Startups are hard already, and it's always better to roll boulders downhill than push them up. Particularly perceptive viewers might have already noticed the key understanding that's missed by product market fit tunnel vision. You can't treat any part of a billion-dollar startup in a silo. If your channel defines your product and your model defines your channel, you can see how trouble happens when these elements aren't aligned. It's common to see entrepreneurs change one part of the mix, like the pricing, and then be surprised when their usual distribution channels stop working. But with the knowledge of these 4 components, it's obvious why this happens. On the other hand, getting them all right creates magic. This will only become more clear as we go through the next section. The size of your market determines your business model. To illustrate this, let's use this great graph from Christoph Jans at Point9 Capital. Here, we can see the price on the y-axis, and on the x-axis is the number of customers you would need to reach $100 million in revenue. If the average price per customer is $100,000, you would only need 1,000 customers. But if it's $10, you'll need 10 million. And if your price multiplied by the number of customers in your market doesn't add up to at least $100 million, you probably aren't building a venture scale business. But if they do, congratulations, you have model market fit, and make sure to DM me about it on Twitter. In light of the previous sections, we can see why knowing this is important. Is your market small? Then you're going to have to shoot for a higher price point, which means your distribution channels will change, etc. Finally, let's talk about the meat and bones of a successful company, the esteemed product market fit. You've heard this before, I've heard this before. Product market fit is the idea that your market wants your product. And it's not just that they want your product, it's that they're exploding with feverish excitement to get your product. I'm going to keep this brief and present a simple reframe. It's not product market fit, it's market product fit. Your market defines your product doesn't define your market. When I started Parsable, we were making applications for Google Glass and then trying to find customers for them. We realized quickly that this was the wrong way of going about it. It's always better to understand your market first and then build a product with the needs of that market in mind. Think market first, product second. I've talked extensively on this topic in my video on market analysis here. Now that we know what each of these quadrants means, let's do something weird. Let's talk about how MailChimp, HubSpot, and Marketo are all basically the same company. What do these 3 companies really do? When you strip away all the bells and whistles, they let you send and automate emails. That's it. Purely based on function, any one of these could take the whole email marketing client market. Yet they're all coexisting as billion-dollar companies. What gives? It's all about those 4 quadrants. Every one of these companies understands how their channel, model, market, and product fit together, and so they've been able to differentiate themselves and find amazing success. Take MailChimp, for example. Their market is small businesses, so their product is simple, quick, and accessible. Market product fit. And since their product is easy to use, they can monetize through a viral freemium model with their free version as their primary acquisition channel. Product channel fit. And because they have a modest average revenue per customer and low friction, they can use cheaper CAC channels like paid marketing and virality. Channel model fit. And although they have a lower average revenue per customer, there are millions of small business customers that they can service. Model market fit. Let's compare this to HubSpot. HubSpot's market is mid-market companies, so they've built a Swiss Army knife of a product with more complex features than MailChimp to serve that market. And since they require more setup, they naturally suit inside sales. And with their higher average revenue per customer, they can spend more on pricier CAC channels like content marketing, And also, because there are hundreds of thousands of mid-market customers, they have enough of a market to reach over $100 million a year. You get the idea. Once you see this pattern, you can't unsee it. You can do this with basically every SaaS product category you can think of. It's a permanent upgrade to the way you view and evaluate businesses. Let's recap 3 essential takeaways from this video. 1. Venture scale businesses are like a symphony. When parts are in tune, they can grow lightning fast, even if other similar companies exist. Number 2. Products aren't just made to fit markets, they're made to fit models, channels, and markets. And 3. These fits have to be adjusted constantly. On that final point, since a change in one part affects everything else, a macro shift that alters your marketing channels, like social media ads becoming way more expensive, will require you to reevaluate every part of your business. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, post them in the comments below. Next up, you should check out my Quintessential Startup Playbook series, where I share everything I've learned about building billion-dollar businesses. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, go deep.